Hello, folks, and welcome to the Counting Sheep podcast. My name is Ruth, and this is episode 49 of my podcast. And I come on here about every 2 weeks to talk about crocheting, knitting, spinning, sheep farm life, and whatever I get up to in and around the farm in the New England area. I hope that if you're new here, you can find something that appeals to you. And thank you all for coming back to my returning viewers. I appreciate each and every one of you, and thank you for your lovely comments. I guess I should start off with a weather report since it seems to be the the thing that I do anymore. So the sun is struggling to come out today. We just got over another weekend of rain. Actually, it just seems to rain every Saturday here since the start of the year. Good for the garden, maybe, but I keep dumping out all my house plants just so that they won't drown. We do need some warm weather for the tomatoes to grow, I have to tell you that. But, you know, sooner or later that'll come, and then I'll be complaining that it's too hot. So there's that. But anyway, hope your June is getting off to a good start, and hope you're crafting. And if you have things to share, please, by all means, comment below. I'd like to know what you're working on. It is spring, summer here in the northern hemisphere, so I'm tending to do more lighter weight garments, and so we'll get into that. What else do I have to tell you? Aside from all my crafting, I just really get into gardening and being outside around this time of year. My peonies are blooming finally. Since we're in Vermont, it tends to happen later than maybe the mid-Atlantic and points south of there. But yeah, that's been a real treat to see them open up and bloom. All right, I'm going to get into the fibery aspect of this podcast now. I usually start off with crochet and go into knitting, and head into other things, other fibery pursuits after that. So, crochet. My first finished object that I want to show you, unfortunately, I do not have at hand. If you recall, last week I showed you that I was making the Mosaic Cardi, and this is by Sandra Gutierrez of Nomad Stitches. Sorry about the lighting here. The sun is coming through my window, and it might just be a little hard to see. And I was doing this in J.C. Rennie, super soft 4-ply, which is a Scottish company. And I was doing it mostly in the main color of brown around the bands and around the armholes. What happened was I got it done, and I was sort of promising it as a sampler for where I work. And so I basically dropped it off without taking pictures. So I will put a picture up here, which is probably something, it's probably the same kind of picture or the progress that I showed you the last time. But rest assured, it's all done. I did not do, I have to tell you, my one big modification is that I did not do these exaggerated sleeves that she has. I basically took the band color and did the same thing as the band around each sleeve. And I like that look a little bit more. I just didn't want a real full sleeve there. Anyway, I was holding this up. This is the J.C. Rennie super soft 4-ply. And I have 7 colors all together. And that's what I have left over from all of them. I did use a whole ball of the brown and a little bit out of the skein to complete the Mosaic Cardi. But what a fun pattern. All these different Mosaic bands. They're all different, and it was a really fun thing to crochet because every band was different. And so I was watching all of those colors develop. So in a future podcast, when I get the garment back, I'll be sure to put it up here and show it to you. This is her in her long sleeve version. As I said, I did not do the long sleeve version. And the other modification I did is I didn't do any buttons or buttonholes. I wanted it to just kind of hang free. In the future, I may put some kind of fastener right here along the neckline, but that will depend, of course. Yeah, so that is my Mosaic Cardi, which is done. And yeah, it is busy, hopefully being showcased for other people to look at. All right, I'm going to switch over to works in progress, my whips. And in keeping with my workplace, the Woolly Thistle where I work is having their vest make-along right now. And I joined in. I was on the Zoom meeting for the cast on, and I have decided, because I can't leave well enough alone, and I feel like I have kind of like a startitis type syndrome going on right now. I just want to start everything. Probably has something to do with the season and the weather. But I did show you this magazine the last time, and I wanted to showcase it again because I think it's such a great magazine. This is the Let's Crochet from Lina Productions, and right on the cover is one of Linda Skuja's designs, and you know she's one of my favorites. But there are other designers in here that I am familiar with, one of which is Rosina Northcott. She goes by Zines and Rogers on YouTube, and her design is also very enticing. I just want to show it to you real quick. And what else is nice about this edition is it's exposing me to other crochet designers that I was not aware of. Here's Rosina's sweater, which is also very cute and gorgeous. That might be my next make, but I might stash dye for this because this one that I'm making is called the Mirdza top, and like I said, it's by Linda Skuja, and I'm also making it in some of the Woolly Thistles offerings of yarn. So I'm going to show you, this is the first skein, and this is Bichet and Bouche Les Petite Organic Cotton. So that is and I'm not sure with the lighting at all, but this is kind of a real light, soft green. They're calling, they mislabeled the yarn at the company mislabeled the yarn, and when I ordered it, we couldn't find it because somebody had set it aside to label it correctly. I believe this color, if I'm not mistaken, is soft gray green. That's the true name of the color. Yeah, it's perfect. Perfect for a summer top. It's 100% cotton, and it's a lovely cotton to crochet with. Very soft on the hands. If you crochet with any cotton for very long, or some other cottons for very long, sometimes they can hurt your hand. This one, not so. And this pattern is very potato chippy. I'm going to show you the back first because it's just so stinking beautiful. She's got kind of a play on the granny stitch along with these spiders in between. They call them spiders. Whoops. Which is really sweet. So that is obviously, maybe not so obvious, that this is a top-down construction. And this is the front. So you'll see that the front dips down a little bit. And like all Linda Skuja patterns, well written, well described. Yeah, and I wish you could feel this yarn. It's just lovely. When this came in to the shop, I lusted after it for so long, and it was sat in the bin for the longest time because I just couldn't come up with a project for it. And thankfully, Lina magazines came to my rescue. So yeah, this is the Mirdza top by Linda Skuja from Let's Crochet. And I think I had to go down a hook size. This is a 3.5 millimeter hook, and I think the pattern calls for a 4. Yeah, so that is another winner by Linda Skuja. And I will put that safely away so that we can move on to my next whip, which is another sweater, another top by Nomad Stitches or Sandra Gutierrez. And this one is called the Bougainvillea top, and I showed it the last time. This is a nice summery top with a little bit of embroidery here. And as you know, I'm kind of on not a mission, but an interest. I have an interest in embroidering on knit and crochet garments that has been piqued. And so I want to try some of that on this. And when last we spoke, I know I had the bodice done, and I'm working through the bottom now, and it's done in this smoky gray color. Let me make sure I can get this so it looks right. Yeah, really pretty. Sorry about the lighting. It's good to have the sun out though. Yeah, and the yarn I'm using is called Skepjes Stonewashed, and this main color is called Smoky Quartz, and it has a color number of 802. I do believe I'm probably going to need some more of this. I have about 3 balls left I'm working on, and this shell pattern tends to eat a lot of yarn, as you can imagine. So, whoops, come back here. Yeah, so stay tuned. If I do order more yarn, if I get more yarn, I'll work it into the pattern like every other round, because I know how dye lots can be and they can get wonky and whatnot. But this is quite a variegated smoky color, so I'm hoping it blends okay in the garment. Well-written pattern, again, another great designer who writes wonderful patterns, and I am using a 2.75 millimeter hook for this one. Yeah, I think I showed you the granny squares made up the last time. This is the smoky quartz, and then these are other colors from the yarn. Made up some granny squares there. I can always kind of harvest some of this if I run out of this yarn, along with my gauge swatch, which is right here. Yeah, as you do, just a single crochet gauge swatch, which makes life a whole lot easier when you're swatching for a garment. Keep it simple. I like it. So yeah, that's a Bougainvillea top by Sandra Gutierrez. And then finally, I think I showed you this the last time. This is a garment that the pattern is exclusive to plyful.com right now, and probably will be released to the public, I'm thinking, in less than a year. It was released in March. And usually it's available to the plyful.com members for about a year. and then it goes back to the designer who releases it on her own. And this is another Linda Skuja. And this is called the Everleaf Cardigan. Ooh. See if I can get it. This is going to be interesting. This is going to be an interesting video. There. So that's the Everleaf. And I'm going to show you what I'm doing on this. I haven't gotten too far from the last time. These rows with the leaves take a little time because you're going back and forth with every leaf. But yeah, so just going to show that to you up close. Sun's going away now, so the lighting might get better. Yeah. And this lovely eyelet row is just gorgeous. It complements it very well. These rows are all done, are performed by putting your hook into the back of the stitch, the back loop of every stitch. So that's why you get this nice texture as well. And Linda Skuja is known for her texture in garments. And I am using the same yarn here. This is Gutierrez Stonewashed. And this colorway is called just Yellow Jasper. All of these on this line are named after gemstones. So this is color number 809. And what I love about Gutierrez is they've got an easy start pull tab here. So it's just foolproof. Just this is where you start. Yeah. And this one, I think I probably had to change the hook size for as well. This I'm doing on a 4.5 millimeter hook. I think I had to go down again. Seems like I always go down in hook size and needle size with my projects because I tend to be pretty loosey-goosey when it comes to that. So I'm going to take this out and show it to you in a minute. So yeah, Everleaf Cardigan by Linda Skuja, and it's available with a Plyful.com membership. The Plyful.com membership is through Sandra Gutierrez, and I think it's like $7.99 a month, and you get one pattern per month. You're not obligated to buy the pattern that's up for that particular month. You can wait and bank your points, whatever. And you can select from other patterns, including what Sandra has up on the website, her own work. With the membership, you get monthly you can go to monthly Zoom meetings, and they're all at different times because Sandra is, I believe, back in the UK now. And she was traveling with her family around Europe, or is she actually, no, now she's living in Spain. Sorry. She was in the UK for a while, and then they decided to move to Spain. So that's where she is. But yeah, I think it's a great membership to have. There are a lot of great tips. If you happen to tune in to one of the Zoom meetings with the designer of the month, they tell you about their process, and they also teach you any kind of special stitches. I actually was on the Zoom call for the Everleaf Cardigan, and it was nice to see how to actually perform this pattern. I'm very visual, so watching somebody do something is very valuable to me. And Linda Skuja went through the whole thing, her hands doing the stitches and explaining it. So there's value, a lot of value in that. Anyway, I'm not a spokesman for Plyful.com. I just think it's a great idea, and you can check it out if you want. All right, so that's it for crochet. I'm going to move into knitting now. And last time I showed you my very little progress on a set of socks that I started. These are toe-up socks from the book of... what is it now? Toe Up Socks from the Toe Up. by Wendy Johnson. I have it over there on my book thing, but I also have her book of socks, toe-up socks. And so what's nice about that is every pattern is on a little card like this that you can keep in your bag. And I'm making these here. This is the traditional Gansey socks. You can see there's the texture on them. And I am making mine in sauna. This is a yarn that is produced in Spain, and it is 50% wool and 50% cotton. This is the ball band, and I'm using the colorway Notes. This is left over from another project that I made. I love the ball band. I love the artwork on all of their stuff. They make several different yarns. I did get some progress done on this, but as you know, I'm a very slow sock knitter, and that's why I put mine on one long circular needle, because if I didn't do them 2 at a time, they would never get done. But here are mine. So you can see the texture developing. I love this pattern. These, I have to tell you, are coming out a wee bit big. And I'm not too concerned about it, because I think what I will do is give them a good wash in hot water, and they might just zip. As I've used this yarn to darn a sock of mine, and I was concerned because it seemed a little loosey-goosey in the darning. But as soon as I washed the socks, it just kind of all came together. So, yeah, lost my point protector somewhere. But I think it will come out in the wash, as they say. So stay tuned. I'm going to persevere with this pattern. If all else fails, they'll make a nice pair of house socks. You know, I do like my socks to cling, so I like a lot of negative ease in my socks, so that you know, they fit well. So this is the top, and then of course on the bottom is just stockinette. Just a nice smooth texture on the bottom of your foot. And I believe these are US zeros that I'm using. Yes, I know that's very small. But like I said, loosey-goosey knitter here, and I have to always go down. And that might be why this is taking me so long. It's just knitting on toothpicks. Yeah, where did that go? I think it's gone for good. Oh no, here it is. Sorry while I clean up. Anywho, so that's the traditional Gansey socks by Wendy Johnson. And I did show the book the last time, but it's well worth picking up a copy of this book if you like to do toe-up socks. And I actually like doing toe-up better than top-down now. All right, and then finally, I'm going to show you my other knitting whip. And I had said to you prior that I was torn between doing 2 different vests in knitting, and I did make a decision last time, and I did swatch, and I am making this, the Atlantic Slipover. I purchased this yarn right from the farm in the Shetland Islands from Donna Smith. So this was made out of her yarn. The pattern is actually designed by Eunson. And let me see if I can show you another picture of it. Yeah, that's a better picture of. We've got some lace down here and color work in here, and then some color work on the sleeves. And this is the Shetland Wool Adventures Journal, Volume 2. I believe the pattern has not been released for single publication or whatever. If you want the pattern, you have to buy this book. Well worth the money, though. There are other knitting patterns in here. There are stories from the Shetland Islands in here. There are also recipes in here. So I think it's a good read. Even if you don't knit anything in it, it offers a lot of good entertainment. All right, let me show you what I'm doing here. All right, so I had a ball with this. Once I got going with the lace, it was just one more row, and now I'm on endless rounds of stockinette, but it's okay. I'm enjoying working with this yarn. So here is, obviously this is bottom up. So the lace band is knit this way. So you're knitting the lace band first and then turning it on its side and picking up stitches to go round and round. And then I have this lovely periwinkle type yarn, violet blue, I should say, that Donna dyed herself and went and got for me up in her in the recesses of her house. Yeah, I'm loving this. This is gorgeous. I can't wait for it to be done. And now that it's nice, you know, easy rhythm stockinette, it's easy to just pick up and put down. Yeah, very nice. A beautiful pattern, very gorgeous. This is her Langston DK. This is 100% Shetland wool, reared in Shetland, Scotland. And she works in cooperation with other farms, sheep farms around her, and collects all the wool. And this is from the 2021 clip, and the colorway is light stain. So it's 238 yards per 100 grams. And that's the color. So a nice light gray. Oh yeah, I'm having a ball with this. It's very gorgeous. And highly recommend. So, moving on. That is it for knitting. I am going to a workshop. I should say, let me back up. Not this coming weekend, but the following weekend. I'm going to the Pleasant Mountain Fiber Workshops. It's 3 days over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Different types of fiber workshops, in that there's a bookbinding workshop. There is a dyeing with plants workshop. There are all sorts of things: felting, dyeing yarn, weaving, knitting. I am actually taking something that is probably out of my comfort zone a little bit. I mean, I do sew, I have quilted in the past, but this is going to be something that is totally different from what I've done before. This is called the No Scrap Left Behind Quilted Jacket, and I'll just show you a picture of it. And it's an all-day class, so I'll be there all day on Friday to make this. So it involves gathering up every scrap of fabric that you own, and it involves kind of cutting the cuffs and waistband and neckband off of a oversized sweatshirt and going from there and making a beautiful piece. So I'm looking forward to that a lot. I was signed up for 2 workshops on the Sunday, and unfortunately they canceled. And it was also kind of a half day sewing and half day rug braiding, wool rug braiding. So I was a little disappointed there, but I managed to get into another workshop that I probably normally wouldn't have signed up for. And that is doing some um, folded uh, folding material and dipping it in a dye pot and see what you get, like folding it and clamping it and that sort of thing. So I'll definitely show the next time my results from that. So I'm getting a little excited. The Saturday of the weekend, we're actually um, going to pick up my roving from the shearing from my sheep. And both things are in Maine. The Pleasant Mountain Fiber Workshops are in Maine. And then the farm, Catawampus Farm, that is processing my wool is about an hour and 20 minutes from the workshop venue. So we're just taking the day on Saturday and driving over there to pick that up. It saves me on postage, and this year I'm saving on postage both ways, which is great in my book, especially package postal rates. So yeah, that's Pleasant Mountain Fiber Workshops, and that's coming up not this weekend, but the following weekend. So I will make sure I bring you up to speed on the next podcast about that. And then finally, I just have one acquisition this week that I wanted to share with you. One of the people I follow on Instagram brought this book to my attention, so I wanted to thank her. Francesca, I know you have subscribed to my channel, and I follow her very avidly on Instagram. She's quite a creative person, and I get a lot of inspiration from her and other people. And she happened to pick up a copy of this book, Quilt It, Crochet It, and as soon as I saw her put this up, I knew I had to have it. And if you're a crocheter and you don't quilt, don't let the title frighten you. What this is it shows a bunch of quilts and how you quilt, but it also shows you how to reproduce the quilt with granny squares. And I just love that concept. So if you just see the back cover, this gorgeous, wonderful heart shape on this quilt is just out of this world. And it looks like, it'd be a great way to use up minis, as long as you had like a neutral background color, like a light gray or even this cream color would work really well. Yeah, lots of inspiration in here. Let me see if I can show you one that stuck out to me. I like it when you can grab inspiration from another craft. Here's this, they call this Hillary Starr's crochet pillow. And it's just taking this whole idea of the star and reproducing it with crochet motifs. It's just, lately I've been gathering so much color inspiration from different handicrafts, embroidery, applique, just looking at the way people put color together. Like this is just gorgeous as well. These little squares. And if you struggle putting colors together, the first thing you can do, and I've been told this before, is to look at nature. See what nature has done with color, and then try to reproduce that. And then also you can gather inspiration from a book like this. Here's that heart shape in a larger form here. Yeah, so if you're into that, if you like to make granny squares and you like the shape and the patterns of quilting, I recommend this book, Quilt It, Crochet It. And there's 14 designs in this. and it's by Jemima Flint. That's the name there. All right. Well, that is all that I have this time around. I hope you all are keeping well and that you're stitching and crocheting and knitting and spinning. Oh, one other thing before I go. The other thing that's coming up is Tour de Fleece. And Tour de Fleece, if you don't know, is a kind of, I'm not even going to call it a challenge. It's kind of a incentive to spin every day that the Tour de France is on. And so you can elect to set a goal that's very doable, very small, maybe just spinning 15 minutes a day. You can follow their schedule and take their rest days as well, or you can spin throughout the whole thing if you want. The rules are really what you make of them, but I love when Tour de Fleece comes around every year because it kind of, it's incentivizing to me. It gets me back to getting a daily practice with my wheel or my electric wheel. So I'm going to participate in it, and hopefully I'll be able to show you my results from that. But that's in July, so I think I have another podcast coming before that even gets started, but I thought I'd throw that out there. All right, on that note, I think I'm done. So once again, take care, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.